Mac, this offense for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I know you like to tip your cap. They deserve more than a hat tip here. They've gone through some attrition already this season. They've survived it, and now it looks to be back to where it was. I know no Godwin still, but they're producing at a rate that teams do not produce against this defense. What stood out from the offensive effort?
Baker Mayfield, once again. I mean, Baker plays with no heart in terms of conscience. He just goes about his business. And the thing about Baker, he can have a bad play. It never happened for him mentally because he goes and he progresses like everything is positive. Once again, 22 of 27, only 5 incompletions, almost 300 yards, 288 to be exact, 4 touchdowns. Baker Mayfield has been balling. I know you would never put his name in the MVP conversation, but when it comes to doing more with less, in terms of at one point in this season, he was without his top 2 pass catchers. Heck, Chris Godwin will not return. Mike Evans came back. Didn't miss a beat. He was able to weather the storm without his high-level pass catchers, kept his team afloat. And right now, they're thriving like no other team in the NFC. When you look at some teams that are not the household names in the NFC, when you talk about the Detroit Lions of the world, the Philadelphia Eagles of the world, there are some teams that's right on the outside looking in that you have to monitor in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I put them in the same neighborhood as the Rams. Those 2 teams you do not want to see in the playoffs, especially when you look at the confidence that they're playing with and how well their quarterbacks are playing on either side.
We've seen them offer walking papers to better teams in the playoffs before. I'm not sure you want to see this Tampa team, when it's all said and done, they inch ever closer to a division title there. Mac, you allude to the heart of Baker Mayfield. I know what you're saying in terms of his almost malaise that he goes into. There's such a competitor spirit within him that he flips that switch and becomes a different beast. He's a foxhole guy. Like, he's the guy you want in the foxhole next to you. What is the value in that? Sort of the intangible. We could talk about the numbers, but how much is it worth to have a guy like Baker Mayfield believing through the attrition?
It means a lot because he's a fighter that never quits. But he plays the most important position on your team, which is the quarterback. And you can tell the entire team rally around Baker. Look at his fight. When he's in the pocket, it's collapsing. He's never going down. He's trying to fight and claw for every positive yard. When he breaks the pocket, he's looking to make something happen with his arm or with his legs. I just love his nature, the nature that he loves in playing football. You can tell Baker Mayfield loves football because he attacks the game like it's his last play. Every down. And Todd Bowles, kudos to Todd Bowles. He's done a great job keeping this team together, keeping this team afloat, and making sure that they believe every opportunity, they have an opportunity of winning ball games. And look at this, right? The next three games for Tampa, on the road against Dallas, home against Carolina, home against New Orleans. Now, there's still a very, very close like race in their division. But me personally,
favorites in all 3 of those games.
Facts. And they should be the favorites to win the NFC South. And if that's the case, they get a home playoff game in round 1. I don't know if you want to see Baker Mayfield in Tampa in round 1, especially when you have a healthy Mike Evans back in the lineup. Oh, by the way, Mike, let me give you your tribute as well, sir. 9 receptions for 159 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's on the cusp of having another 1,000-yard season, not to mention he missed quite a few ball games because of that hammy injury he was dealing with as well. And then Jalen McMillan, he had 75 yards receiving and a touchdown. This is a defense, oh, by the way, Levante David, I think he's a future Hall of Famer as well, if you're asking me. This defense did not allow 1 first down on 3rd down opportunities for the Chargers. They were 0 for 6. The Chargers offense on 3rd down. How can you win when you don't convert a 3rd down?
Well, that actually takes me exactly where I want to go. We talk about winning football games different ways. Are you worried that this is a Chargers team that can really only win one way, with the lead, running the ball, staying in front of the sticks? Are they a little bit one note to be where they need to be this close to playoff time?
They're one note in terms of being one-dimensional, and that dimension is not working well because they don't have J.K. Dobbins. And then outside of that, they can't keep up in a race full of sprinters. What I mean with that, when they're playing against an offense that can score to the magnitude like the Buccaneers, they can't keep up. It's almost like being a cross-country runner and you're in a 100-meter race. It's hard. It's hard because their style, their personnel does not fit a team like Tampa that has a potential gunslinger at the quarterback position with a bunch of Ferraris to throw the football to. So this is something for the Chargers. Right now, their personnel is the personnel. There's not a lot you can do in terms of a turnover in roster-wise. But moving forward, you have to find a way to improve when it comes to the pass-catching position, not to mention having more skillful guys at the running back position. J.K. Dobbins meant a lot because he was basically, Joe, their best playmaker on the offensive side. Not having J.K. Dobbins, you know, you're still waiting for Quentin Johnson to turn around to be that big play maker for him. He's been a bit inconsistent.
Ladd
is Ladd. But Ladd is more of a possessional guy, a guy that can move the chains for you. So they cannot handle that style of a race when it's up and down.
Yeah.
They need to make the game their type of game. But when you get down, it's hard to do that.
They had not given up this many points this season. Only Lamar Jackson had taken them to the 30-point. We took them to 40 here with Baker Mayfield.
Baker did it.
The Bucs.
Baker.